Hey, welcome back to the channel. Today, look at these classy looking knives. Look at them. Man, they look good, don't they? Look at that. Man, that's some classy looking knives right there. They just look good, don't they? Look at that. An oldie, but a goodie. One of these is a $110. The other one's an Imperial. Some of you guys have already figured out which one's which. But we're going to look at both of these. It's a comparison video, and just let you see the differences between these two knives. I'm going to tell you right up front, before we get into the video, they're both good knives. Okay, so the Imperial is a good knife too, surprisingly so, and that's why I decided to do the video this way. And also may throw in some opinions. I don't know about you. I like Spyderco's, but how do you compare that to that? You know, FRN plastic, holes in the knife. Somehow we got talked into thinking that this is great. Somehow it really doesn't feel great. These things aren't big enough. They don't fill your hand. They'll do the job. But when you put one of these in your hand, yeah, you feel like a man. You feel like you're supposed to when you have a knife in your hand. Yeah. So, yeah. If you'd like to see the comparison, go ahead and check out the video. Hey, welcome back to the Fortified Castle Hide, all my viewers. Hopefully by now some of that turkey is filtering out of your system and you're able to put your pants on again. That's what it's about, man. Thanksgiving, we just feast. It's a feast. We should say Thanksgiving feast, because that's what we do. We just eat and eat and eat until we pass out. And we love it. We don't care whether it's healthy, right? So, we're going to be talking about these two knives today. Hi to all my viewers. Welcome back. We're going to look at the two fantastic knives today. They're suspiciously the same size. So I measured them. They are exactly the same size. One is the real deal and one is not. And so we're going to look at that and see the differences in these two knives. This is a real deal. It's a $110. It's a new one. It's not an old one. This was the Grail knife. If you grew up in the 60s and were a young man, you couldn't wait to get your hands on this knife. If you didn't grow up in the 60s, if you turned 20 when you were 2000, you probably don't even know what this is. You probably think this is the best knife in the world. Heh. Yeah. Ooh, I have a glass. I can't get carried away here. I have a glass table here. This is the Imperial. Same size. They both look good. Outwardly, really the only very little difference. The bolster here is a little bigger. And the line is at a greater angle. But pretty much same. You have spun pins here on the buck and flat pins on the Imperial Coca-Cola wood here, and this is ebony. This is still the original. This is not that ebony infused stuff they're using now that I don't think's even ebony. They just call it that. But anyhow, this is the original ebony wood. You can see the lines in it right there. Pretty nice. So let's open these up. And you have really big blades. These are lockbacks. If you're not familiar with the 110, lock is at the very back of it. Some lockbacks are in the middle. Those would be mid locks. Some are up here. Those are front locks, but they're all on the back side, so they're all back locks. This is a monolithic frame here, so the liner is actually molded with the bolster. And on this one, they're separate, I believe. But we'll look at that closer. I'm not really sure whether it's separate or not. I think it is. So this is your Buck 110. And look at the blades on here. So pretty close. Pretty close. Let me get this. Okay. So that's pretty close. You got a nice clip point on each blade. This is a Frontier Double Eagle in mint condition. These were made, Frontier knives came out from Imperial in 1975. I think they ran in 1989. And so that would be the date on this knife. It'd have to be, its born date would have to be 1989 or sooner. But you got a flat grind on here. Really small edge on this. If you can see that. Fairly good edge. It does have a swedge on it. Oh, come on. Woo! The camera's drunk today. And there's the back right there. Fairly nice transition. It is set down a little. It is set down a little. Overall, the brass looks really good. You can see the pin here. You know, when these get worn, you can see the silver pin too. Like right now you can't, but you could. I can see it in there underneath the brass. So I think when these wear a little bit, these are silver pins too underneath these. But anyhow, let's look at this one. Nice clip. You have a nice wedge. Now on this wedge, I want to show you something here. That wedge goes to a very fine point. You actually wouldn't take much to sharpen this and make this double edged. That's how small that point is. When you look on here, look how wide it is. So you have a swedge, but it comes to a much wider stock on this. And this is really pointy. You see the point right there? But this is much pointier. This is like a freaking needle. Ow! I'm gonna start bleeding. Ooh. Let's look at the transition here. Perfect transition. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. That's that Buck. You have a hollow grind on this right here. But really, the blade behind the edge is about the same. It might even be thicker than this Imperial. I think it's actually a little thicker. Blade behind the edge. And you do a hollow grind to have a really fine edge on it. You can see this brand new, so you can see how Buck has laid back that edge, and it is sharp. It's really sharp, you know. maybe too sharp at this point. I think some people could argue that. It's really too sharp, too fine of a point on this. Might break right away. When you look down inside here, looks pretty much the same. I'll show you something interesting. Well, let me do this. Okay, so when you let the back spring off, look how this breaks and starts to drop. Now, usually these lockbacks are not drop shutty. Some of them can be. Usually there's a lot of pressure here and it doesn't allow for that. And if you look down inside there, there's a little, yeah, okay, I want to show you. Get some light in there. There's a little cliff that this back spring falls into, a little channel, and it makes a good solid lockup for your blade. There's no movement here, no up and down movement, and there's none on the buck either. I'll show you this. See, same technology on the buck. You get that little channel, it just back spring falls down in it. But when you let go on this spring, the buck doesn't fall. And it still doesn't want to fall. And so I actually have to keep it pressed and push this down to get it up over that little channel in there. See that right there? See that little channel? And I'm not sure it should be that way, right? I think when it unlocks, it should unlock, and it's not unlocking. So you push a little bit, and it does unlock. So some of you buck experts can tell me whether that's supposed to do that or not, but I don't think it's supposed to. And you see that right here. You see this lock, and the blade just drops. You know, it's free, and that's unlocking completely, whereas this, in my opinion, is not unlocking completely. So I tell you what, I haven't looked at my older bucks. Let me just go look at one. Okay, yeah, all my old bucks do the same thing. They they pop blues, and you got to ride them over. So that is the way buck intended this to operate. And it's just fine. But often replicated, but never duplicated. The Buck 110. This is a pretty good knife. I just got this. Paid $25 for it. Brand new. Didn't have to clean it up. I polished it a little. Used some what did I use? Polish on there to clean it up. Had to clean these up a little. Somebody had polish all over this wood, but I took that polish off the wood to get this nice, pretty kind of orange look in it. And yeah, this is a good knife. This would have done the job and made you happy. I mean, really, it's identical other than the build. The build on this is a lot better, I think. You can feel as you run down here, you can feel it's uneven and kind of sharp. The grind is not really perfect on this. And, it's just... When I look at this blade, it probably doesn't show it in the camera, but when I look at this blade, it looks like it was just stamped out. Boom. Taken down the line, had an edge put on it, and put on the knife. And this one, that may be what happened with this one. Maybe they did that, but it just looks like there's a lot more work on this blade. It looks really sharp. Out of the box. Haven't used this yet. And Yeah, this just looks a whole lot nicer all the way around. You know, the edges are rounded over. They're square on here. And it's not horrible, though. I mean, it's not gapping like a Rough Rider or anything like that, or a Baron Son. But, you know, wondered, this is my, not my first Frontier, but I had, wonder about these, and I was able to pick one up, and just ecstatic that it, I got it in pretty much like new state here. Didn't get a box with it, but yeah. What do you think? And I still love a buck 110. This is what I carry most of the time, but I kind of retired that this year, carrying this little buck sprint right here. I really like carrying this more. I like using it more. It fits my hand better than this buck does. I was just kind of experimenting because I'm a big knife guy, and this is a kind of a medium-sized knife. And I really like this knife. I've enjoyed it a lot. And I've enjoyed this knife over many, many years. But if you look at it, it's got no soul. No. Oh my gosh. It's got a face only a mother could love. Yeah. This, anybody could love that. That's just awesome. Look at that. That's a man's knife right there. We didn't used to carry these in our pockets. Maybe some really big guys did, but we carried these in pouches on our side. I know we carry these in our pocket now. But how can you compare this to this? Just like, man. Look at that. I don't know. I got a couple. Look at this. This is like a toy. I like this Deca, by the way. Nice knife. Magna cut. Carried this a couple months at least. I still carry it. Just wiggles right there. It's meant to be a light little knife. But I mean, it doesn't fit your hand. It's small. I think Buck produced this Deca, or the Sprint Pro, to be the Deca killer. Look at it. It's almost exactly the same size. This feels much better in hand than the Deca. Much better. Of course, it's burlap micarta too, so there's that. Which that's a whole nother story. Why this is not burlap micarta. Why it's cheap FRN, and you gotta pay $150 for it. But whatever. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. Appreciate y'all checking in. Now you gotta get out there and put them Christmas lights up. Ooh, something to look forward to. We'll talk at you later.